All right, welcome to the vocabulary terms for Module 3, Lesson 1. These are terms that you're going to need to be able to use and understand in order to be successful within this lesson and within the module. So first and foremost, we have to determine what a rational number is. A rational number is a number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. Okay, it can be a fraction or a decimal, but it must repeat or terminate. We'll talk more about the repeating and terminating later, but basically a rational number, so integers couldn't have fractions or decimals. Okay, rational numbers can. So it doesn't mean they have to, but they can. All right, so for example, these numbers listed below are all examples of rational numbers. So negative 12 is listed as negative 12 over 1. Negative 3, even though it doesn't have a fraction or a decimal, is still a rational number because I could turn it into negative 3 over 1. 1 3/10 repeating. It does have a decimal, but since that decimal repeats, so it goes 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, it's a rational number. Okay, and then 4.5. This is also a rational number because it has a fraction and it's also a decimal that can terminate. Dividend. These are really important ones here that are going to be difficult. A dividend is a quantity that's going to be divided, so it's getting divided. So in this case, 745 is the dividend. So if I were to do 745 divided by 9, 745 would be the dividend. Okay, it's what's being divided into groups. And then the divisor, in this case, is what's doing the dividing. So like a teacher teaches, the divisor divides. So it's the number doing the dividing. So in this case, 9 would be the divisor. All right, so 9 is doing the dividing in this case, so it is the divisor. Next, you have a mixed number. So a mixed number has a mixture of two things. It has an integer or a whole number and a fraction. So a number with an integer or a whole number and a fraction part. So it's a mix of both. It's got that whole number or integer and a fraction. So it could also be negative 8 and 1/2. It doesn't have to be a whole number, it could also be an integer, so it could be positive or negative. But in order to be a mixed number, it has to have both of these. So it has a whole group and it has a part of a group. And an improper fraction. So an improper fraction, improper means that it seems wrong, it seems off. So improper means that it has a larger numerator than denominator. Typically when we think of fractions, we think of numbers that are bigger or smaller on top than they are on bottom. In this case, an improper fraction is larger on top than it is on bottom. So when you see fractions that are listed as this, they're still fractions, but they're considered or called improper.